Hare Krishna, welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 6, entitled Conversation between Srila Narad Muni and Sri Vyasadeva. Text 15. Tasmin nirmanuje pippalopastha ashritaha atmanatmanam atmastham yatha shrutamachintayam. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Narad Muni continued. After that, under the shadow of a banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the supersoul situated within, using my intelligence as I had learned from liberated souls. Purport. One should not meditate according to one's personal whims. One should know perfectly well from the authoritative sources of scriptures through the transparent medium of a bona fide spiritual master and by proper use of one's trained intelligence for meditating upon the supersoul dwelling within every living being. This consciousness is firmly developed by a devotee who has rendered loving service unto the Lord by carrying out the orders of the spiritual master. Sri Narad Ji contacted bona fide spiritual masters, served them sincerely, and got enlightenment rightly. Thus he began to meditate. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So we are reading this 6th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where there are further talks between Narad Muni and his disciple Vyasadeva. And Narad Muni begins to answer the question asked by Vyasadeva about what happened to him after he got initiated from the spiritual master. This is about the previous life, the past life of Narad Muni, where he was born as a son of a maid servant. We have been discussing this quite from many sessions. So Narada, the boy who was just 5 years old, who had lost his mother, started traveling towards the northern direction after he received the transcendental knowledge from his spiritual masters. And also, he had lost his mother, but he did not feel sorry about it. He thought that this is the Supreme Lord's arrangement for him to become detached from material attractions. So, a devotee of the Lord does not feel sorry, does not feel bad, even under extreme circumstances, because a devotee has firm conviction in Krishna's plan, in Krishna's arrangements. So this is a very important learning that we have to imbibe from the Bhagavatam. Throughout the Bhagavatam, you will find many such incidents where a devotee, even though he goes through difficulties and miseries in life, he never blames the Lord, nor does he give up his faith and bhakti in the Lord. In fact, difficult circumstances are actually a test for our to test ourselves, to know ourselves, how much we are really fixed up in Krishna consciousness. When everything is going on nicely, it is very nice to speak philosophy, but when things are not in our favor, when things go out of our hand, when things unexpectedly take turns in our life, bring miseries in our life, that is the real test for our Krishna consciousness. A devotee who has firm conviction, who is fixed up in devotional service, does not get uh, agitated. He does not get disturbed under extreme circumstances. So the boy Narada, even though he was just a 5-year-old boy, because he was trained in transcendental knowledge by the pure devotees, therefore he perceived the death of his mother as a divine arrangement, and he started walking northwards. And then we saw in the previous sessions what all different kinds of places he started walking through. He saw mountains, valleys, rivers. He saw uh, forests, gardens. He saw cities, towns, villages, and all kind of places he saw. Now here in this shloka, Narad Muni begins to narrate about how he was meditating on the Supreme Lord. So let us read this once again. Tasmin nirmanuje aranye pippalopastha ashritaha. So he says, Tasmin, in that, in the forest, aranye, aranya means forest, nirmanuje, manuja. Manu means the father of mankind. Ja means born of. Manuja means all the human beings who are born of Manu. Nirmanuja means a place which is without human habitation, where no human beings are staying. That is called Nirmanuja. So that forest was Nirmanuja. There were no human beings staying there. And he chose such a place for his meditation. Pippala upasthe ashritaha. Ashritaha means to take shelter. Upasthe means to sit under it. Pippala means banyan tree. So he found a banyan tree in that forest which was uninhabited by any human beings. And this boy, he took shelter at the roots of the banyan tree. Under the banyan tree, he sat down. And what did he do? Atmana atmanam atmastham. Atmana. See, the word Atma has got different meanings in different contexts. The word Atma primarily means the soul. The word Atma can also mean the super soul, Paramatma, seated within our heart. The word Atma can also mean intelligence. The word Atma can mean mind. It can mean the body also. So, when we are studying the scriptures, if we have a understanding that, oh, Atma means soul, with that understanding, if you try to read everywhere, you will not get the real import or the real meaning of the verses. That is why it is so important that we have to depend on the commentaries written by the bona fide Acharya. The bona fide spiritual master who comes in the Parampara system, he helps us to understand the meaning of each word in different contexts in the scriptures. Without such explanations and commentaries given by the acharyas, we will only be speculating, and that speculation may not give us the right sense or the right meaning. This is one of the reasons why we should actually study the explanations given by the bona fide acharyas, right? So here, Atmana Atmanam, Atmanam. So here, Atmana means by intelligence, and then Atmanam means the super soul, the Paramatma seated within the heart. Atmastham means situated within oneself. Yatha Shrutam Achintayam. Yatha Shrutam means as I had heard it from the liberated souls. Yatha Shrutam Achintayam. I thought over, I meditated upon. So, what is the Narad Muni saying? I traveled a lot in the forests, and then I reached a place which was totally uninhabited by the human beings. There I found a huge banyan tree, and I took shelter at the base of that banyan tree. I sat down there, and I began to meditate on the Paramatma situated within my heart, using my intelligence as I had learned from liberated souls, as I had received instructions from my spiritual master. In that way, I began to meditate upon the Paramatma within my heart. So, this is a very important point. First point is, many people think that they confuse between Atma and Paramatma. Many people, even great philosophers, they say that both are one, but both are not one. Atma is different from Paramatma. Atma means the individual living entity. We, each one of us, we are called Atma. And Paramatma means the Supreme Lord, who is seated, accompanying us within the heart. That means within our body, there are two souls. One is we, the individual soul, who are referred to as Atma. And along with us, we have the expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is accompanying us life after life. In every species, in every body, the Lord is accompanying us. And he is called Paramatma. In the Bhagavad Gita, very clearly Krishna distinguishes between Atma and Paramatma. Krishna says in the beginning, in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatrana muhyati. So he says, within this deha, this body, there is the dehi, the soul. And the body goes through changes from boyhood to youth to old age, but the soul remains as it is. So here Krishna is giving the knowledge about ourself, Atma. And then if you study later on, say 15th chapter, for example, in one of the verses, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Krishna says, I am seated in everybody's heart as Paramatma, and I give intelligence, knowledge, and forgetfulness to the individual living entity, the Atma. That means without the Paramatma's intervention, the Atma cannot even actually think or try to fulfill his desires. The Paramatma's intervention is so very crucial. So, what is the difference between the Atma and the Paramatma? Now, that is explained in the 13th chapter. In 13th chapter, Krishna talks about Kshetra, Kshetrajna. This body is called as Kshetra. Kshetra means the field of activities. And kshetrajna means the knower of the field of activities. And there Krishna says there are two knowers within the body. There are two kshetrajnas within the kshetra. One kshetrajna, the individual soul, is conscious only about things happening within his individual body, whereas the other kshetrajna, he knows what is happening in all the bodies of all the living entities in the material world. Kshetrajnam chapis mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Sarva kshetra means all bodies, whatever is happening within each body, the Paramatma is aware. Whereas the individual Atma is only aware of what is happening within his own body. That means Atma's consciousness is limited, whereas Paramatma's consciousness is unlimited. Atma, the consciousness is limited only to his own body, whereas Paramatma is conscious of what is happening with everybody. Therefore, we are called individual consciousness, and the Lord is super consciousness. He is aware of everything that is happening. Now, this Paramatma, he is seated in our heart. From time immemorial, he is accompanying us. Now we have got human form of life. Previous to this, we might have been born in some other species, some animals, some plants, some species of life. Now, in all those species, in millions of such lifetimes, the Paramatma has been a constant companion for us throughout our journey in this material world. He is just waiting when this person, the Jivatma, will turn his attention towards me. He is so patiently waiting. Paramatma, the Lord is so patient. He's so compassionate. Even though we have forgotten him, he never forgets us. And he's constantly, with great patience, his eagerness, he's waiting. When this Jivatma will turn his attention from Asat towards me, towards Sat, from temporary happiness to real happiness. Our real happiness is possible only when we reconnect with the Paramatma within the heart. So, yoga process, the word yoga comes from the root word yuj, yuj dhatu. Yuj means to link up or to connect. So, yuj dhatu, yuj means, or yoga means, the individual soul, Jivatma, has to connect with the super soul, Paramatma. This connection is always there, but right now we have forgotten. And this forgetfulness of our relationship with the Paramatma, with the Lord, is the cause of all miseries. Now, the yoga process is all about how to reconnect, how to relink, revive our relationship with the Lord. That is the yoga process. Right? Patanjali Rishi, he is the father of the yoga system. And he defines yoga in this way. Yogaschitta vritti nivrittaha, yogaschitta vritti nirodhaha, Krishna, he says. Chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta means our mind. Our mind is ever disturbed with so many thoughts. So, Patanjali Rishi says, yoga is all about silencing the mind, which is always disturbed, and focusing the mind on the Paramatma within the heart. And the same Patanjali Rishi in his Yoga Sutras says very clearly that this yoga meditation is not some vague meditation. It is not some, you cannot simply meditate on some imaginary light or some imaginary form like that. No, he very clearly says, yoga meditation means to meditate on the four-handed Vishnu form who is situated within our heart as Paramatma. The Paramatma has got a specific form. He is the Vishnu Murti, the four-handed Vishnu who is actually the maintainer of all of us. He's situated within our heart. So the yoga system of meditation is all about how to focus on this Vishnu Murti situated within the heart by controlling the senses, the life air, and the mind. That is the whole point. In the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna talks about this. Lord Krishna says the different prerequisites that are required to practice this system of meditational yoga called as Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga means 8 limbs. There are 8 stages in this process of Ashtanga Yoga or meditational yoga, which begins with Yama, Niyama. Yama, Niyama means do's and don'ts. Any yoga system, there has to be do's and don'ts. What you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to avoid. That is Yama, Niyama. Then Pranayama, Pratyahara. Pranayama means breath control, and Pratyahara means taking the senses away from the sense objects. Right now, our position is Atyahara. Atyahara means overindulgence in sense gratification. We are always looking for how to satisfy our senses through material arrangements. Now, this kind of a sense enjoyment and progress in yoga system cannot go well together. So, senses have to be regulated. Senses have to be used only as much as required for maintaining the body. That's all. This is called Pratyahara. Pranayama, Pratyahara. Then Dhyana, Dharana. Dhyana means meditation. Dharana means sustaining our meditation on the Paramatma within the heart. Right? So when one makes progress like this, before that, asana. Asana means sitting posture. Pranayama, Pratyahara. Before that, asana. Asana is sitting posture. The body, various sitting postures, that is explained in the Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna says, a yogi has to sit in a sacred, secluded place. You cannot practice yoga in a city which is filled with a lot of people and noises and all of that. You need to go to a sacred place. It has to be a secluded place. And then Krishna also says, you have to sit in on a platform which is not too high nor too low. And then you have to sit in a straight manner such that your head, your neck, and your back are in the same straight line. That is asana. And then the yogi has to control his senses, withdraw his senses from this external sense objects, and he has to half close his eyes and constantly stare at the tip of his nose. And he has to constantly chant the sacred syllable Om. And he has to fix his mind on the Paramatma, the Vishnu Murti, present within the heart. And in this way, one has to go on practicing sense control and mind control. And one has to practice this yoga system until one attains the highest stage called as Samadhi. What is Samadhi? Samadhi means total absorption, complete absorption. The Atma and the Paramatma, they're going to meet each other face to face within the heart. And that is called Samadhi. And at the end of this chapter, in the 6th chapter, Krishna declares, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. Lord Krishna says, O Arjuna, I have explained to you the process of Ashtanga Yoga, the meditational yoga process. But I'll tell you, Who is the topmost yogi? According to me, Krishna says, me mataha, in my opinion. Now, Krishna's opinion is very important because Krishna is not an ordinary person, right? His opinion is very important. So he's saying, according to my opinion, that person who is constantly engaged in my devotional service, meditating on my spiritual form, such a person is the topmost yogi. This is what Krishna says in the 6th chapter, shloka number 47, the last shloka of the Ashtanga Yoga, the 6th chapter. So therefore, the highest yogi is one who is engaged in loving devotional service to Krishna. In fact, after this 6th chapter, in fact, in the 6th chapter itself, after Krishna describes the various ways in which a yogi should go to the forest and he should renounce material sense gratification, have control over his senses and mind, and fix his mind on the Paramatma within the heart. When Krishna gives all these descriptions, Arjuna immediately says, Chanchalam hi manak Krishna pramadhi balavadrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayor ivasa dushkaram. O Krishna, whatever system of yoga you have described to me, I feel it is very, very impractical for me. Why? Because my mind is chanchala, it is very flickering. It's not possible to sit down like that and constantly meditate. It's not easy. Who is saying this? Arjuna is saying. And mind you, Arjuna is not an ordinary person. Arjuna, he is called Gudakesha, the one who had conquered his sleep and ignorance. Even from his childhood, Arjuna demonstrated his detachment and his tapasya. He would not sleep in the night time. Whatever Guru Dronacharya taught the students in the daytime, Arjuna would practice that in the night, even in darkness. He would practice shooting arrows. That person is saying, oh Krishna, whatever system of yoga you have told, it is not very practical. I don't think it is possible for me to practice. Who is telling? Arjuna is telling. And when is he telling? 5,000 years ago, in the Dwapar Yuga, where situations were much more conducive than the present day Kali Yuga. Arjuna is saying. So then what to speak of all of us in Kali Yuga? In order to attain spiritual perfection through the process of this meditational yoga or Ashtanga yoga in Kali Yuga is very, very, very difficult. Therefore, it is not recommended. Maybe 1 in 1 million persons can attain perfection through Ashtanga yoga. It is that rare. It is that difficult. So therefore, there is an alternative system which is highly recommended for people in Kali Yuga, and that is Bhakti Yoga. Now, in Bhakti Yoga, there are no prerequisites. If you want to attain Ashtanga Yoga perfection, prerequisite is you must have sense control, you must have mind control, you must be able to master your breathing, you must be able to understand self-realization. Only then you can begin to practice Ashtanga Yoga. Whereas Bhakti Yoga, there is no such prerequisite qualifications required. Anybody, anywhere, without any background spiritual philosophical understanding can actually chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the association of devotees, hear about Krishna, take prasadam, sing and dance in front of the Lord, and simply by doing these things, which are all very enjoyable, a devotee can actually transcend illusion and attain the highest perfection. So, Bhakti Yoga, it is the highest yoga. At the same time, it is very, very simple and easy to practice. But one important thing that we have to keep in mind is while executing Bhakti Yoga, one cannot practice Bhakti Yoga whimsically. Whimsically means, oh, whatever I feel, I will do. Oh, whatever I feel, I will practice. No, it is not like that. One has to take guidance from a bona fide spiritual master who gives instructions based on the scriptures. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita. Ya shastram vedim utsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti na shantim na param gatim. Krishna says, one who discards the scriptural injunctions and acts whimsically, such a person cannot attain perfection, cannot attain spiritual advancement, he cannot even attain peace of mind. Therefore, it's very, very important. We have to follow the standard scriptural instructions. So as Narad Muni is saying here, Yata Shrutim, I exactly practiced meditation on the Paramatma within the heart based on what I had heard from the Bhakti Vedantas, the pure devotees. That is very, very important. Following in the footsteps of the great devotees. Mahajano yena gatassa panthaha. We have to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajanas, take their instructions and follow. Then it becomes very easy. Otherwise, if you go on speculating and we try to invent our own ways and means, then it's not possible for us to attain perfection. So, Narada, in his past life, he carried out the orders of his spiritual master and rendered the process. He practiced the process of meditation on the Paramatma within the heart. So what happened after that? When the boy was meditating, what exactly happened? Let us see. And how he was actually meditating, that is also described here. Let us see. Text 16. Dhyayatascharanaambhojam bhava nirjita chetasa outkantyashrukalakshaya kalakshasya hridyasinmeshanair harihi. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation, Narad Muni continued, as soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. Purport. The word bhava is significant here. This bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. The first initial stage is called Shraddha, or a liking for the Supreme Lord. And in order to increase that liking, one has to associate with pure devotees of the Lord. The third stage is to practice the prescribed rules and regulations of devotional service. This will dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper progress in devotional service. When all misgivings and personal deficiencies are removed, there is a standard faith in transcendental matter, and the taste for it increases in greater proportion. This stage leads to attraction, and after this there is bhava, or the prior stage of unalloyed love for God. All the above different stages are but different stages of development of transcendental love. Being so surcharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation, which leads to different kinds of ecstasies. Tears from the eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction. And because Sri Narad Muni in his previous birth attained that stage very quickly after his departure from home, it was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord, which he tangibly experienced by his devoted developed spiritual senses without material tinge. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So Narad Muni is describing how did he meditate and what actually happened when he meditated. Dhyayataha charanam bhojam. Dhyayataha, thus meditating upon Charana Ambhojam, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, localized as Paramatma within one's heart. So meditation has to begin with the lotus feet of Krishna. Even when we have darshan of the Lord in the temple, as soon as we go to the temple to have darshan, we should not immediately have darshan of the face of the Lord. That's not the way to have darshan. First, one must have darshan of the lotus feet of Krishna. And then carefully one has to meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna, because the lotus feet of Krishna is described in Bhagavatam as the boat which can carry the devotee to the spiritual world. One has to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. The scriptures are filled with the glories of the lotus feet of the Lord. For example, Mother Ahalya in Ramayana, she was delivered from her curse merely by the touch of the dust from the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. Simply when one comes in touch with the lotus feet of the Lord, one can become free from all inauspiciousness and one can become liberated. Then Bali Maharaj, he accepted the foot of Lord Vamana Deva on his head. And in that way, he completely surrendered to the Lord. And in return, the Lord gave himself away to Bali Maharaj. The Lord asked Bali Maharaj to stay in the Sutala planet. And the Lord himself became the doorkeeper for Bali because of his exemplary surrender and service to the lotus feet of the Lord. And this lotus feet of the Lord, when Vamana Deva was measuring the entire universe with his 3 steps, when he lifted his first step, for measuring the first step, when he lifted up his leg, the toenail of Lord Vamana's foot, one of the feet, it punctured the universal covering, and because of which the Karana Jala came into the universe. It leaked into the universe. That Karana Jala, which leaked into the universe, actually is called Ganga river. So when the Lord lifted one of the feet up, it went all up to the Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. And Lord Brahma was so happy. Oh Lord, great devotees meditate upon your lotus feet. Now you have brought your foot to my residence. I'm so fortunate. So immediately Lord Brahma took the opportunity, and the water which was there in his Kamandalu, with that he performed Abhisheka for the foot of Lord Vishnu, Vamana. So that water which washed the feet of Lord Vishnu, plus the water which leaked into the universe because of the hole created by Vamana, together, those 2 waters together became the Ganga river. So Ganga river has its origin in the feet of Lord Vishnu. That is why Ganga is so powerful. Why is Ganga river so powerful? Because its origin is the lotus feet of the Lord. Just by taking a dip in Ganga river with proper consciousness, one can actually become liberated. So how did Ganga water get this power? Because the Ganga originated from the feet of Lord Vishnu. So these are all the glories of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. So when we have darshan of the Lord in the temple, we have to meditate upon all these wonderful qualities, the wonderful aspects of the feet of the Lord. When we go to the temple, it is not simply a ritual of just seeing God. It's not like you're going to some exhibition and there are some exhibits there and you're just seeing them and coming away. No. Having darshan of the Lord means it is a process of developing relationship with the Lord. So when you are seeing the Lord is also seeing you, and his merciful glance is falling upon you. Therefore, it is a two-way process. You are seeing the Lord is also seeing you. So when we are seeing the Lord, we have to see or have darshan, carefully meditating on each and every part of the Lord's spiritual body, beginning with the lotus feet of the Lord. Then one should go further, meditate on the calves of the Lord, then the thighs of the Lord, then the belly. Krishna is called Padmanabha because from his navel, a lotus grows in which Brahma is born. So he is Padmanabha. So we have to meditate in that way. Then we have to meditate on the chest of the Lord. The chest of the Lord is the residence of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi. And then we have to meditate on the arms of the Lord. The arms of the Lord are always ready to give protection to his surrendered devotees. Then one should meditate on the face of the Lord and specifically the smile of the Lord. The Bhagavatam says, simply by meditating upon the smile of Lord Krishna, the ocean-like miseries in which we are all suffering in the material world will all get dried up. That is the mercy, the merciful smile of the Lord. The miseries in which we are engulfed currently in the world, in this material world, it is compared to an ocean of miseries. The smile of the Lord has the power to evaporate such huge ocean of miseries of his devotees. Therefore, one has to meditate on the smile of the Lord, on his compassionate nature. Then one has to meditate on the eyes of the Lord. The eyes of the Lord are ready to, the eyes are always filled with affection for his devotees. They're ready to glance upon his devotees mercifully. So in this way, slowly from the lotus feet, beginning from the lotus feet, one has to carefully meditate on each and every part of the Lord's transcendental body. So Narad Muni is saying, I began to meditate upon the Lord seated within my heart from Charanambhojam, from the feet of the Lord. Ambhoja means lotus, the lotus feet of the Lord. And then what happened? Bhava nirjita chetasa. Bhava nirjita. My mind was transformed in transcendental love for the Lord. Chetasa means all mental activities like thinking, feeling, and willing. So Narad Muni says, because I followed exactly whatever my spiritual masters had told me, and I was meditating on the Lord in that way, very quickly I attained a stage called bhava. Bhava means spiritual ecstasy, spiritual pleasure, spiritual happiness. He was able to experience in his thinking, feeling, and willing. In this stage, a advanced devotee experiences what is known as Ashta Sattvika Vikara, 8 kinds of bodily changes a pure devotee experiences. One of them is shedding tears as soon as one remembers the Lord or one chants the holy name of the Lord. An advanced devotee sheds tears out of love. There will be eruptions on his body. Hair will stand on end. Now, these are all the descriptions given in the scriptures. Now, these descriptions are, they are not sentimental. These are actually real transformations that happen in a devotee's heart because of his intense love for Krishna. Now, in our stage, we are still in the beginner stage of Krishna consciousness. We should not try to imitate such exalted devotees. You know, once a disciple of Srila Prabhupada went and told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, whenever I chant Hare Krishna mantra, tears are coming in my eyes. So he was expecting that Prabhupada will appreciate him because he had heard that how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting, he used to shed tears and he used to feel ecstatic like that. So he was thinking maybe Prabhupada will appreciate me that I have become an advanced devotee now. But Prabhupada could understand and he said, don't worry, continue to chant Hare Krishna, the tears will go away. That means there is a long way to go, right? So the Prabhupada explains in the purport, for us to come to the stage of prema, pure love for Krishna, there are 8 stages. First stage is called Adau Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Some little faith we have, and we have an inclination for Krishna, that is called Shraddha. But the Shraddha is Komala. Komala means it's not very strong. It's not based on scriptural understanding or realization. It is some kind of sentiment, some kind of feeling we have. That is called Komala Shraddha. So with that, the second stage is Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. With faith, we have to associate with devotees, hear about Krishna, hear about the process of bhakti from the devotees, and practice bhakti under their guidance. This is called Sadhu Sangha. That is the second stage. Third stage is practicing. First we hear Sadhu Sangha, then third is Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means to practically follow the instructions given by the spiritual master. That is a third stage. When we do that properly, when we engage in devotional service properly, according to the guidance given by the pure devotee, spiritual master, then we come to the fourth stage called Anartha Nivritti. Anartha Nivritti means becoming free from unwanted habits and drives. We all have some kind of habits which we have developed because of different kinds of friends, different kinds of associations. And some of these habits may not be conducive for advancement in bhakti. So as soon as we engage in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra sincerely, and we engage in devotional service, seva, then what happens is we can become free from the unwanted habits and drives. That is called Anartha Nivritti. Then when all the anarthas are gone, then we come to the fifth stage called Nishtha. Nishtha means firm conviction in the process of devotional service. Firm conviction. Shraddha means it is feeble, komala. But Nishtha means firm conviction based on proper realization. That is called Nishtha. Then after Nishtha, we come to Rati. Rati means attraction. Before that, Ruchi. Ruchi means taste. We develop taste for the process of bhakti. We develop taste for chanting. Right now, we may be hearing that, oh, chanting Hare Krishna is so important. Chanting, we should chant with full attention. And great devotees, they have experienced the sweetness of chanting. We have heard all these things, but we have no experience of all of these things because still the offenses have not gone. Still the unwanted thoughts and unwanted habits have not gone. So we should continue to chant. Then all these things will go away. Then we experience ruchi, taste. We will feel, oh, why only one round I should chant? Why not 16 rounds? Why only 16 rounds? Why not more and more number of rounds? That is the meaning of ruchi, taste, right? That will come naturally when we develop nishtha. And then after ruchi comes asakti, attraction or attachment. Attachment to the Lord, attachment to the process of devotional service. We develop attachment. And when that attachment becomes stronger, it is called bhava. Bhava means we develop spiritual emotions for the Lord. Of course, this, as I said in the beginning, it is nothing to do with material sentiments. It is real transformation that happens in one's heart. One naturally feels ecstatic simply by hearing about Krishna, simply by seeing Krishna. The example for this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, uh, he is Krishna himself, but he came in the form of his devotee to teach everybody how to practice bhakti. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Jagannath Puri and he saw the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Mai, immediately he said, "Oh, here is my Lord." Like that, he became so ecstatic. And in that ecstasy, he actually fainted in front of the Lord. Oh, I've seen the Lord. The Lord of the universe is there in front of me. He's giving me his darshan. I'm so fortunate. Like that, he became so ecstatic. That is bhava. So, of course, we should not imitate that. There is a long way to go, as I said. So, and then when the bhava, the spiritual emotions become more and more heightened, then the last stage of perfection called Krishna Prema can be experienced. So, like this, there is a step-by-step process of progress in bhakti. Just like when you're doing a chemistry experiment or any experiment, you know, in our school days, college days, we would have done some experiments, especially chemistry. They'll say add um, reactant A and reactant B, add it in a test tube. Then you heat it with a Bunsen burner, and then some effervescence will come out. Some product will come, that C will come. Now, that effervescence or that gas which is released, you pass it through lime water. Lime water turns milky. That means that gas which came was carbon dioxide. Like this, we can infer. That means there is a step-by-step process, isn't it? First reaction, reactant A, reactant B, then you burn it, then effervescence will come, then that you pass through lime water, then this will happen, change of color of the solution will happen. That means it's a very predictive thing. That means anywhere in any part of the world, if you use these reactants and do this particular experiment, you can get the same result everywhere. It's not that in India you will get, you know, white color solution when you do the experiment, and when you do it in the US you will get a pink solution. It's not like that. It is the same thing everywhere, provided the temperature and pressure are all the same. Every situation, the same experiment can be done thousands of times and the same result output will be there, isn't it? Same thing in bhakti, in spiritual life also. The acharyas have studied all this and they have codified. One of the great acharyas in our parampara, Srila Rupa Goswami, who was a direct disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has written all these things. What are the step-by-step progress that happens with a devotee, with a sadhaka who is trying to attain perfection of life, of Krishna Prema? First step is Shraddha. Second step is Sadhu Sangha. Third step is Bhajana Kriya. Fourth step is Anartha Nivritti. Fifth step is Nishtha. Sixth step is Ruchi. Seventh step is Asakti. Eighth step is Bhava. Then final ninth stage, the final perfection is Prema. Like this, he has codified and he has explained, Rupa Goswami has explained based on various references from the scriptures. So, attaining this Krishna Prema, the perfection of life, We are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. What is the purpose of chanting Hare Krishna mantra? To attain that Krishna prema, to attain pure love for Krishna. So that is the perfection of life. So if we follow this step-by-step process with proper guidance, we can also come to that stage. So here Narad Muni is saying, in my past life, I actually came to the stage of bhava because I was following very diligently whatever was instructed to me by my spiritual master. So what happened to him? Bhava nirjita chetasa outkantyat ashru kalakshayaha. So utkantha means intense eagerness to see the Lord. And Ashrukala, tears rolled from his eyes. Akshaya means his eyes. And then what happened? Hrudi asit me shanaihi harihi. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, shanaihi, without delay, quickly, Hrudi asit, the Lord appeared within my heart. In other words, I was able to see the Lord within my heart. Narada Muni is saying, see, a 5-year-old boy also can practice this. If he is sincere and he has received the instructions properly and diligently he is following, then the result is there. So Narad Muni is saying, I was able to see the Lord within my heart very quickly. So this is a very important thing. We'll read one more shloka and then close. Text 17. Premati bhara nirbhinna pulakango ati nivrutaha ananda samplave lino napashyam ubhayam mune. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Narad Muni said, O Vyasadeva, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord. Purport. Spiritual feelings of happiness and intense ecstasies have no mundane comparison. Therefore, it is very difficult to give expression to such feelings. We can just have a glimpse of such ecstasy in the words of Srila Narad Muni. Each and every part of the body or senses has its particular function. After seeing the Lord, all the senses become fully awakened to render service unto the Lord, because in the liberated state, the senses are fully efficient in serving the Lord. As such, in that transcendental ecstasy, it so happened that the senses became separately enlivened to serve the Lord. This being so, Narad Muni lost himself in seeing both himself and the Lord simultaneously. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So Narad Muni is continuing to describe his spiritual ecstasy. What did he experience when he was able to have a glimpse of the Lord within the heart? Premati bhara nirbhinna. Prema ati bhara. Excessive prema, excessive love I experienced. Nirbhinna means especially distinguished. Pulaka anga. Pulaka means, feeling of ecstasy, feeling of happiness. Anga, different parts of the body. Ati nirvritaha, being fully overwhelmed in joy. Ananda, ecstasy. Samplave linaha. Samplavaha means an ocean. Linaha means I was absorbed in an ocean of ananda. Na apashyan ubhayam. I could not see both myself and the Lord. Mune, O Vyasadeva, O great Muni Vyasadeva, this kind of thing happened to me. Narad Muni is telling. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport in the very beginning, spiritual feelings of happiness and intense ecstasies have no mundane comparison. Therefore, it is very difficult to give expression to such feelings. Unless one experiences it, one cannot actually understand what it is. Many times one may think it is simply a sentiment, but actually Narad Muni is saying, no, I saw the Lord. So many people claim to have seen God, right? But actually, what is the test of one's seeing God? If one has actually seen the Lord, then it is here explained that all of his senses will be awakened fully to render service to the Lord. That means if somebody says that I have seen God, the test is that after seeing God, he should be fully engaged 24/7 only in the service of the Lord. Then we can accept that he has actually seen the Lord. It's not that, oh, I have seen God, and after that I am busy with many other material affairs. Then it is simply a propaganda. It is simply a cheating propaganda. Many people say that, no, I have seen God, like that. Seeing God is not such a cheap thing. And you cannot force God to show himself to you. Sevon mukhehi jifvadav swayameva spuratyadaha. When we engage in bhakti, according to the guidance of pure devotee spiritual master, then when the Lord is pleased with our seva, then he will himself reveal to us. The Lord should reveal himself to us. Then only we can see him. We cannot force the Lord to come in front of us. That's not the way. So here, Narad Muni's seva attitude pleased the Lord. That's why the Lord appeared to him within his vision, within the heart. He was able to see. And seeing that Lord gave him such great pleasure, which is not at all comparable to any kind of material sukha. Material happiness is nothing. Material happiness is not even like a drop, whereas the happiness a devotee experiences by serving the Lord, that is like an ocean. Anandambudhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamritaswadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this chanting of the holy names of the Lord or any aspect of devotional service to the Lord, it is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It is a ocean, ever increasing ocean of unlimited happiness. We all have experience of seeing oceans in this world, isn't it? Oceans are very big, very huge, but however big an ocean may be in this world, it has a clear-cut boundary. You cannot say this ocean is unlimited. No, it is limited. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the happiness that a devotee experiences in his advanced stage when he chants the holy name, that is like Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. Ambudhi means ocean. It's an ocean of happiness, Ananda, which is ever increasing. Now, that's not so easy for us to comprehend. How can an ocean keep increasing? That's why Prabhupada says it cannot be given expressions, because generally when we hear such things, we always try to compare it with our temporary material experience. Our temporary material experience of mundane pleasure is nothing compared to the ocean of joy that a pure devotee like Narad Muni experiences by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Right? So, that is what Narad Muni is describing here. In fact, later on, Narad Muni guided so many other devotees, and they also experienced the same pleasure. So Narad Muni guided one of the devotees called Dhruva Maharaj. He was just a 5-year-old boy. Because his stepmother humiliated him, he left the palace and he went to the forest. He wanted to see Lord Vishnu, and by blessings of Lord Vishnu, he wanted to get a position much, much higher than his father and grandfather, Brahma. And that time, Narad Muni guided Dhruva. Narad Muni said, you please go to Madhuvana, one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. It is very sacred. Lord Krishna stays there eternally. And there you go and every day take bath in the Yamuna river, and you worship the deity of Lord Krishna with tulasi leaves, and you chant the holy names of the Lord. So like this, he gave directions. And this boy took those directions and instructions so seriously that within 6 months, he was successful in his attempt. Within 6 months, he was able to see the Lord face to face. And at that time, when the Supreme Lord Vishnu appeared in front of Dhruva, the boy, you know, first of all, Dhruva was in ecstasy when he saw the Lord. It is described there were tears in his eyes, and because of the tears, he could not see the Lord properly. And then he did not know what to do when the Lord appeared. All of a sudden, the Lord has appeared in front of me. What to do? How to show my respect? Oh, I don't know. So immediately he fell down at the feet of the Lord. Like a rod, he fell down. That is called Dandavat Pranama. Danda means rod. Dandavat means falling flat on the ground like a stick. That is a way to show respect to the Supreme Lord and to the spiritual master. And then he stood up. Still, he was crying. His eyes were filled with tears out of ecstasy. He could not see the Lord properly. Then the Lord understood the awkward position of this boy. So, what did the Lord do? Shankha, the Lord was holding a Shankha in one of his hands, and he touched that Shankha to the forehead of Dhruva. And as soon as this transcendental touch happened, there was a current kind of a experience, electrifying experience that the boy went through. And then he started offering prayers to the Lord. The first prayer he offers is Yonta pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakhala shakti dharasvadhamna. So he offers prayers. He says, my dear Lord, by this merciful touch of yours, all my senses have got enlivened now. There is a Shakti Pravaha happening within my body because of your touch. And all my senses, which were sleeping till now, they have been awakened now by your mercy. And I am fully eager to render you more and more service with each of my senses. My eyes are hankering only to see you. My ears are hankering only to hear about you. And my tongue is hankering to glorify you more and more. In this way, my entire body, all my senses are now become spiritually enlivened. So this is the experience Dhruva Maharaj went through. And even as a 5-year-old boy, he offered wonderful prayers, which even great scholars and great, Pandits cannot think of composing such prayers and offering. That's because he followed the instructions of his spiritual master, Narad Muni, very seriously, sincerely. And by that, the Lord appeared in front of him and blessed him. And even though he had begun the tapasya with a material motive, but after seeing the Lord, you know what he said? He said, one of the prayers, Dhruva Maharaj says, Kachan vichinvannapi divya ratnam swamin kritartosmi varam nayache. He says, my dear Lord, I was a foolish person. I was actually looking for broken pieces of glass. But by the blessings of my spiritual master, I have found you, the greatest jewel. Initially, I was foolish. I was actually running behind small pieces of glass. Oh, I want a bigger position than Brahma. Like this, I was thinking. Now I have understood that all that is like glass piece. In front of you, I have found you, the greatest jewel. Swamin Krutartha Asmi. I am fully satisfied. Varam na yache. I don't want any material benediction. Please engage me in your seva. Like this, Dhruva prayed to Lord Vishnu. When we go to Vrindavan, there is a place, Dhruva Tila, where Dhruva Maharaj performed tapasya. And the place where he performed tapasya in Madhuvan, and he was able to see the Lord face to face. We go there and offer prayers to the Lord. So, seeing the Lord is very much possible, but we have to qualify. We have to develop pure bhakti. Only then the Lord will reveal himself to us. And to get this pure bhakti, one must take shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord. By his blessings, by his mercy, by his instructions, we can actually see the Lord face to face. That is the whole thing. In fact, Prabhupada mentions human life is actually meant for becoming qualified to see the Lord face to face. That is the purpose of human life. But for that, we should uh, take up the tapasya of, uh, not being attracted to material pleasures. Instead, engage in Krishna conscious activities which give us higher taste, higher pleasure. As Narad Muni is saying here, Anandambudhi, ocean of joy is waiting for us. But Maya makes a fool of us, and we hanker for drop of happiness that we get in this Maya Sukha. If you run behind drop of material pleasure, you are missing out the chance of experiencing ocean of pleasure, which the Lord is ready to give us. So today is Ekadashi. The scriptures say on such special days, Ekadashi is a spiritually surcharged day. It is meant for fasting and praying and chanting more and more and hearing more and more about Krishna. So on such special days, we should intensify our bhakti by chanting more, by hearing more. And we should very, very seriously practice bhakti, the way Srila Prabhupada has given us. If we follow that, then very surely, we can actually attain the perfection, just like Dhruva Maharaj, just like Narad Muni was able to see the Lord. We can also see the Lord. But it is not a sentimental process. It is first we have to understand the philosophy, then we have to abstain from material sense gratification. In Krishna consciousness, sense control is very easy, unlike other processes like Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, where it is very tough. Because in Krishna consciousness, we have alternate higher pleasure giving engagements, spiritual pleasure giving engagements. So, what happens in Krishna consciousness? We take nice prasadam, which is offered to the Lord. So, there is no rest, there is no suppression of any desire. We sing nicely in front of the Lord, kirtan, dance in front of the Lord, take nice prasadam, hear such wonderful pastimes of the Lord and his devotees. Now, when we do all of these things, we experience a higher taste, and on the strength of this higher taste, automatically we become disinterested in temporary, material, lower taste pleasures. That is a whole process of Krishna consciousness. So it is so joyfully performed. So especially on the day of Ekadashi, in the beginning we may find it is very austere. Oh, Ekadashi, I should not eat. Yeah, at least you should abstain from grains. You can take non-grain prasadam. You can take fruits. But the main purpose of Ekadashi is to increase our bhakti. Prabhupada mentioned Ekadashi fasting means chanting more and more. So the more we chant, the more we become attached to Krishna. Our spiritual senses will be awakened, and we will also become qualified one day to see Krishna face to face. So therefore, we must follow Ekadashi Vrata. Ekadashi Titi Bhakti Janani, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. This Ekadashi Vrata, it is Bhakti Janani, it is the mother of Bhakti. Anybody who follows Ekadashi nicely, what we should do on Ekadashi, just as I said, reduce your bodily activities, increase your Krishna conscious activities. So once in 15 days, this Ekadashi is like it is a way, it is meant for checking ourselves, how much I have advanced in bhakti. It's like a 15-day, once in 15 day, it is a reminder. intensify your bhakti. Of course, it doesn't mean only on Ekadashi I will chant and other days I will not chant. It's not like that. Every day we should chant, but on Ekadashi day we should chant more, because our time for eating is saved. Time for other material activities is saved. That extra time should be engaged in chanting more, hearing more about Krishna. So we are very fortunate by the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. We have got an opportunity to describe and hear about Krishna on such special days, Ekadashi. And all this is because of the blessings of our beloved spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So we will continue to see in this chapter. Narad Muni further describes what happened. He was able to see the Lord within his heart, but all of a sudden the Lord disappeared. Why did the Lord disappear? And after that, again, Narad Muni tried his best to again get that vision, but he could not get that vision. Why did the Lord do this? Was he playing hide and seek with the boy Narada? What is the mystery behind all that? We will see in the coming shlokas. Thank you for your valuable time. We shall meet again in the next session. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, bro.
Prabhu.
Thank you, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Hare
Hare Krishna.